Oh look, pigeons frolicking, performing natural things in their natural environment. And look, posh kids playing badminton with pink balloons, frolicking in their natural environment. And that guy's pretty good actually.
We had a party, like a very famous birthday party on a famous design.
I don't know if you remember that back at the time of the Brexit referendum, there was a thing being spread by the newspapers, an idea being spread, that people didn't really understand the issues, if you remember that. They were saying, and people like went along with it, they were like, yeah, we don't really understand what is for the best, like should we leave Europe or shouldn't we leave Europe? We haven't been properly informed, and we need to be much better informed as to be able to make a decision. And of course at the time, you probably know that it wasn't really that difficult to work out, what the main issues were. It was just the fact that people were being told they didn't quite understand such an overly complicated issue. And the similar thing is going on now with the Repeal Act, in that people are being told that it's a very, very complicated situation and it's very difficult to understand. And so, of course, when people read that, they're like, oh God, that sounds boring, it's really complicated, and I probably shouldn't look into it. But actually, I've now done a lot of research and a lot of reading into the Repeal Act, the Repeal Bill, and it's quite interesting when you reread the articles knowing actually what's going on. I was going to get run down by a taxi. There seems to be like a exercise in confusion going on in the British newspapers, where they're starting to like mix up the language, seemingly purposefully to confuse people and convince them they don't know what's going on. A good example of that is the Brexit bill. What is the Brexit bill? Because if you were to Google Brexit bill, you may come up with a few different things that are essentially referred to as the same. For example, they're saying Britain must pay the Brexit bill, meaning the settlement, the financial settlement with the with the exit of the European Union. But also, of course, the Brexit bill is a slang term for the repeals bill. I've been reading essentially the government's white paper on the exit bill of the European Union, which at the moment is called the EU withdrawal bill, but when it's passed, it'll become known as the Repeal Act. But also, in all the government papers, they refer to it as the Great Repeal Act, but actually that's mythological. There is no such thing as the Great Repeal Act. It's called the Repeal Act. And sure, the difference is only a minor word, but when you're talking about a legal system, a constitutional legal settlement, wording is very, very important. The fact that most people think it's called the Great Repeal Act or the Brexit Bill, I think it's just all part of the disguise on convincing people they don't really know what's going on. But I think they don't really know what's going on because there is an exercise in mass confusion going on. That's what's going on. But in a way it is confusing because they're making it purposefully confusing. You kind of get the feeling that people don't know what's going on by design, by guile. It's Friday night, so lots of people at the pub. There's a pub called the Golden Lion just there. And if you go down the next little alleyway down there, I think it is, you've got the Red Lion pub, which I've been in a couple of times just to scope it out. And I've talked about it before. It's basically a pub designed by Freemasons for Freemasons, in between all like the main Freemasonic lodges, including the Supreme World Council, which is up here. And I don't think I've ever actually filmed in there properly, but Mason's Yard is just through there. And Mason's Yard has a few art galleries in it. It had quite a notable art gallery in the 1960s, the Indica Art Gallery, which is where Yoko Ono met John Lennon for the first time, apparently. And there's something in an art gallery there that, in the fact that it's behind the Freemasonic Lodge, really caught my attention. But based on a previous experience in the Red Lion pub, when I've been in there sort of like checking out the Freemasons, having a pint of beer, I noticed that the landlady wears a special piece of jewellery around her neck. Someday I'm going to try and film it, but it's a frog. She wears a frog. And one time I went in there, it was with like an Irish friend of mine, and she started to ask them, like instantly, as soon as she went in, the landlady started to ask about astrology, which is very odd. Oh, the Supreme World Council is actually open at the moment. Look at that. For those fine brethren.
See you later. Ciao.
Interesting. Yeah, the frog, otherwise known as Kek, and you may be aware that Kek is the lord of shitposting, the emperor of Kekistan, which is quite interesting. I'm now really hoping that the piece of art is still down here, but yeah. This is Mason's Yard. It's a bit of a weird place. It's got the White Cube Art Gallery in it. You can hear a rabble. Going to be like 1 million people standing around this corner, no doubt. Yeah, outside the pub. I can't remember if I have filmed here before. Behind this building here is that's basically the back end of the Royal Institute of International Affairs, which has a bright blue door. So I've always found this quite curious, that there's a bright blue door behind as well into Mason's Yard, around the back of the Royal Institute of International Affairs. And yeah, there's lots of art galleries here, like rare books. Apparently, like Paul McCartney had a bookshop here in the 1960s where he would collect rare books, probably like weird ancient tomes where filled with mysticism and everything. Oh yeah. Just check it out. Fucking Lord Emperor of Kekistan in Freemasonic Central. Look at this. Very strange. Kek, the big frog. What's it called? Pepe the Frog. So when I saw that, it made me think, Freemasonic land seemed to have a bit of an obsession with Kek, and it makes you wonder that the sort of mass intelligence project over, the internet and the streams of information, the controlling arm of shitposting might actually be an undercover project by the agents of the Brotherhood. It is my suspicion, and one day I'll go and check out that pub properly. Wow, news of the world. The verdict is for hanging.